What's up guys, it's Smoshy from youtube.com/Smoshy and twitter.com/xsmoshy, and today we're going to talk about the new map for Rules of Survival. It's been a month since Fearless Fiord was released, and already players are discovering some pretty unique and interesting things. For anyone who's not familiar, Fearless Fiord is an 8,000 by 8,000 kilometer map including water. If you're talking strictly land, then it's about 6,000 by 6,000 kilometers, which is still very impressive. So how long does it take to run from one side of the map to the other? Each square on the map is 1,000 meters, so I timed myself to see how long it would take to run 500 meters. This came out to 1 minute and 20 seconds. From the east side of the beach to the west side was roughly 6,500 meters. Throw in some math, and this translates to about 17.5 minutes. I tested this with only my fists out. Keep in mind, a chicken with an energy drink will further increase your running speed. And this doesn't include running uphill, which will further decrease your movement speed. Did you know that the shipwrecked boats around the map are accessible? There's a ramp leading in from the water, and yes, there's even loot on board. So don't be afraid to take a motorboat and have an adventure. Speaking of adventures, there are a couple hidden glider locations on the map, here and here. One in the top left, and towards the southern part of your map, near the quarry. This location in the top left corner is one of my favorite places to loot. It's very secluded and usually has everything you need for the journey ahead. Not only is it a great place to loot, but can also be life-saving. If the circle spawns in the southern part of the map, you can take one of the gliders and glide over halfway across the map. This allows you to bypass the bridges completely, possibly saving your life from bridge campers, and also gives you the choice of where to land, putting yourself in a favorable position and sets you up nicely for a win. Don't forget to hold Ctrl +4 on your keyboard to switch to the gunner seat. Not only is this great for defending yourself from possible attackers, but also allows you to scout around and keep a mental note of where players are and where they may be moving to next. Use that information when deciding where to land your glider and where you will move to next. After switching seats, you can also use bandages, medkits, and sports drinks if you're damaged or outside the circle. Another tip to keep in mind is if you're in big trouble, don't be afraid to dive the glider into your enemy. It will one-shot them. Once you're on the ground, a funny strategy is to actually park the glider in a field and switch to a random seat. Wait for a player to drive by, get in the glider, and try to take off. You can switch to the gunner seat and start shooting. This will really scare the crap out of them. You could also not shoot and wait for them to get airborne. Then you two can form an alliance and try to wipe out the remaining players. The glider really is an amazing vehicle, and I've only just scratched the surface of what sort of plays you can make with this thing. Who knows what the future may hold for this little glider. There are 11 bridges in Fearless Fiord, some short, some long, but they all have one thing in common. They can be climbed or even driven over. Just make sure you watch your step when moving about up there. One wrong move and that could be the end. Depending on the bridge, you can also jump into the water without taking any damage. This is useful for when you're getting shot at and need to make a quick escape. Just be aware that you're defenseless in the water, so use this escape plan as a last resort. So the next time you approach a bridge, double check the beams. There may just be a sneaky player waiting for you. And the last thing you may not know about the new map is this tiny little town over here called Town Buyer. What makes this town so special is that it's submerged in water, and the water isn't too deep. You can still walk and explore the flooded buildings. So what are some interesting things that you found about the new map? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, I'm Smoshy, and don't forget the rules of survival.